At the core of Layer's value proposition is to really keep track of all the changes happening in your master file. So let's see how this works. Whenever a collaborator is submitting changes via Layer, you would see this review needed tag on the respective flow that is affected. Also, you would see this little blue dot whenever there's an unread message in the workflow tree to look at. Now, let's click on this flow to expand. Let's read the message first. That's the one. I correct the salaries. So we already know some of the context of the changes that we're about to look at. If we want to now look at the changes, we have to click on the review button here, which then takes us to the Layer Sheets web interface. And here is where everything we build around track changes are going to appear. So at first sight, you'll probably see that we added highlighting to the cells. So that immediately directs your eyes to the cells that were affected and or were changed. Now, Layer differentiates between two types of changes. Direct changes induced by the user. These are stressed here in darker blue. And indirect changes, so consequential changes, indirect ones that are marked in light blue. So, and on the right-hand side, you have an overview of all changes in the respective sheets that you've shared. You will always see the sheet and then an accumulated number of all changes, plus then a list view of all changes, differentiated in formula changes. Here, the little fx tells us that there's a formula, and then all the rest of the value changes below. If you want to skip through the changes, you simply click on these little pills, and then the app takes you through all the different changes. If you want to inspect a cell a little closer, simply navigate to the cell, click on it, and in the left top corner, there's a track changes drop-down. So you'd see the old value and then the proposed value by the collaborator. We do this on the value dimension. We also do this on the expression level. What does this mean? This means formulas. So let's see how this plays out in real life. This cell here, marked in dark blue, is originally a formula cell. And we know that this has been touched by the user because it's highlighted in darker blue. So let's see what's been going on. Note that next to the track changes drop down for values, there's a track changes drop down for formulas. We use the same notation to help surface also very granular changes like this. So by looking at this for just a couple of seconds, we know that this argument here of the formula has been changed, and where there used to be a 2, now there's a 1. So we know immediately what has been going on. As a last step in the review process, since we know where and what has changed, we can now decide whether we want to accept or reject those changes. How does this work? If we want to not have any of these changes be merged into our master file during the consolidation process, we can exclude them. And this works as follows. So let's say that is an error. Yeah, so here, remember, the collaborator changed 12 to an 11 that we don't want to merge into our master file. Then we have the chance to simply ignore that. That you can do by selecting the cell and then adding it to the ignored changes list down here. And now if we click on accept, everything but the ones that we've ignored will be merged into our master file. And note that we don't have to do any manual copy pasting, so we can consolidate by a click of a button.